Good evening, everybody. So, it's been a while since I did a video like this. And for those of you who know me personally, know that I have not dated in years. And I'm like talking about like longer than I normally ever go through months and months and months without staying single or whatnot. But yeah, the reason why I did this, want to make this video, is the purpose of helping out other women to, you might have the same experience as I do, or maybe even worse off than what I dealt with. But I think we can all learn from each other. And I think it's important, especially nowadays with how dating has gone, because like the generation that we live in with technology has killed people when it comes down to dating. So I wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of women can get a lot of value out of this, and you might have already went through something similar. So here we go. So I had a video Zoom call with this lady, and I met her through meetup.com. And she was she's a love coach. She deals with relationships. She has coaching sessions. And eventually, after hearing what she had to say, I was like, yeah, this is true. But also, I decided I didn't want to go through coaching with her because I felt like the coaching sessions that she wanted me to pay for she was like $700, and I was like, no, heck no. First of all, I really wanted to find a love coach and that I felt comfortable dealing with. And their method of doing, the coaching, because you're paying out of your hard-earned money for a coach to help you, kind of guide you through. So what I decided to do instead of that is I'm going to invest in, you know, Stefan Speaks coaching sessions, and I just feel like his coaching sessions would help benefit me a lot more than any other one, because I know that Stefan Speaks, he's really good. He comes from a place of a spiritual place. He comes from a lot. I mean, when you hear him talk about love, and the whole idea is that it's really important to find a significant other that matches you. And what I mean by matching you is the chemistry has to be on point for me. The second thing that I really value out of a person is someone who's going to encourage me. Um, a lot of the times when, and I was reading Stefan's book, he was talking about, like, he entered a lot of toxic relationships. He wasn't really happy with his family life and things like that. And I could really relate to his story. Okay. But, and she asked me, like, what are your goals for, getting to this point, and why are you wanting to get married, and what makes a happy marriage? Well, for me personally, happiness is something that you really have to make into a relationship. And also, I think a lot of the times women, we tend to think more emotionally charged than logically speaking in relationships. Now, that's not all of a bad thing, because when you invest in a relationship, and especially a love kind of bond, you're going to want to have a partner who fulfills your consistent needs. Now, like I said, it took me a while to decide what I was really looking for in a relationship. And I knew ultimately when it came down to a relationship, I didn't want to have I didn't want to have the same repeated pattern mistakes. And, you know, take for granted we are not, nobody in this world is perfect. I have never ever found a perfect guy. I have found a guy that I could grow close to knowing and I could confide in, but you have to look at it realistically and you really have to figure out, like, is this really going to be for me? Is this person going to be the one that I could just set myself, just see myself being with for the rest of my life? And it doesn't even have to be that, hard. A lot of the times I feel like women, we tend to overly think so much, and that compensates the fact of dating and what dating really should be all about, because dating should be fun. If dating doesn't feel fun and intriguing and enlightening you and all this kind of stuff, then you're not with the right kind of person. And I had to slowly, like when you're building up a career, okay, it took me a long time to navigate through my career path of what I wanted to do. And I knew, and I don't want to sound spiritual, but I'm gonna put some spirituality into this, okay, you guys. But I knew that God wanted me to enter into healthcare when I saw the different things that were coming in my life. God prepares people for that upcoming event. So it's the same thing with relationships. Like, if you want to prepare yourself for a good, successful relationship, I'm not talking to them, downpoured divorce and all this kind of stuff. I'm talking about a good, godly spouse, which is what I love about I love about how, Stefan speaks about his relationships, because he enlightens women to telling them that love is not lost, people, but love can be found, and it can be found with the right intentions. If you have the right intentions of getting into a relationship, it doesn't feel like work. Like, just like if you was working a career path, and you love it, you enjoy being there, but it doesn't have to be this chore, and a lot of times I feel like people are not happy in relationships because they are finding partners that are toxic, and not only toxic to your health, but toxic to your lifestyle, and the things that you do. Because, like, you wouldn't marry, an entrepreneur would not marry somebody who was a bum. That just doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So an entrepreneur is looking for somebody who's going to fit what they are doing, or matches in their quality of what they're looking for in that particular area in their life. And it's the same thing going with relationships. When you are set up for success in a relationship, you feel a whole heck of a lot better than when you are dating people with the wrong intention. And what I mean by wrong intention is this. I used to do. In my past, I've made mistakes, and I think we all have made mistakes in relationships. Don't get me wrong, but and what Safon speaks about is the fact that you don't want to just settle for a hookup type of relationship, which a lot of times women are doing nowadays. They want to have somebody to hold on to, somebody to help heal their emotional wounds, you know what I mean? And like they want that, and they want that really quick. And it's not, a lot of women say, well, hey, if he stimulates my mind and he's able to, carry on a good conversation, and we're able to tolerate one another, then all is great. You know what I'm saying? But if you're finding a person and all you're finding in them is all these toxic habits, somebody who just like drains the living crap out of you every day, that is a recipe for a disaster. So what I've learned in these last couple of years now that I've been single, and the reason why I did this was not because I wanted to stay single. It was because I knew that God had a bigger purpose for my life. And that's all I knew. I was like, God, whenever you when you find, and I always believe that whatever is meant to be will be, and whatever is not meant to be, God will obviously remove that in my life, and he will find me somebody better. Because you got to remember something, and I always say this to my mother, is that God is in control of your life. When you're a Christian woman, you know that God is in control of your life. But a lot of times we always want to have it to where we're in control. You ever heard of that saying where we feel like we're in control of our lives and our destiny and all this kind of stuff? No, as a Christian believer, we are taught that, God is in control. God is in control of your finances. God is in control of your marriage. He has to be the center of your marriage, or otherwise your marriage would fail. And I've talked to a pastor about this, so I know very well that he's already done seeing this in marriages. A lot of premarital counseling is done because people are just like literally just killing themselves with, like he was telling me one problem was pornography. Another problem was, lusting, and I literally heard somebody actually say this at Mosaic Church one time, but he actually said he was addicted to pornography. And that's what kills marriages. And not to mention lack of finances and, just like that, because that is a burden for a disaster, because you're always arguing about what you could have lost, or something is not there and you're missing out on something. You ever heard of that saying? Like, you're missing out on something, and when you feel that that person is connected to you in a spiritual manner and he is manifesting in a good way, you guys are just going to be able to join with each other, and it's going to feel a whole heck of a lot better than it is to be in a relationship with somebody who just sucks the living drain out of you, or just makes you miserable, and you're just like, oh no, this is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's the reason why it's so important when you get love advice to have somebody to help guide you in the right direction. And like I said, I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. I have dealt with it many different times in my life, and I had to really, really rethink this, and I'm not sitting here, telling you guys a whole bunch of, baloney, because I'm not that type of person. I don't waste time like that. I'm in the healthcare profession, and I'm going to school. I'm trying to see about going to get certified as a medical assistant or something along that lines of the medical field. But literally, when I knew how important it was to develop communication, and good communication, I'm not talking about that communication where you're just like, you guys are just like, he's right here and you're right there, and you guys are coming together, and things are just It seems good, but eventually when things get out of, whack, you guys are just not communicating the way you need to communicate, and therefore that's what leads to divorce, people. And it's sad. I'm laughing about it because I've seen it. I've heard about it so often. Like listening to Dr. Field talk about how many divorces in America statistically is the worst thing in the world. And honestly, this has made me rethink about like living in the United States and trying to figure out how to find some guy in the United States to have and to hold and do whatnot. So I want to take you guys into a path of understanding that you can find if you feel like you're attracting good energy, which is really important in a relationship. That's what the number one key thing you want to attract is good energy from anybody. I'm not even talking about just love. I'm talking about friendships. If you have good energy with your friendship, you guys will be bound to be friends for a long time. But if you have bad energy, what do you think that leads off to people? Divorces, separation, all this anxiety towards relationships and, not having any common ground and this, that, and the other. Don't, like I said to my best friend, don't ever think that you should ever have a perfect relationship, because you're bound to fail if you're wanting perfection in a relationship. Okay. Number one key thing is do not ever think that it's okay to want and desire a perfect guy, because he's not out there. He's not out there. I don't know how many people done told me that said, "Oh, but I'm looking for Mr. Perfect." And you ain't gonna be able to find him. Okay, I've had to tell my friends that hey, you're not gonna be able to find him. And if you think you are, then you're staying in a relationship for all the wrong reasons. Just like if you were staying in a toxic relationship with somebody who's emotionally abusive or triggering you and making you feel down and upset and all that. That is a non-good relationship, okay? So when you ultimately look for a good relationship, you're going to be able to find good things in your life, and God will most certainly answer your prayer as to what you're really looking for, and just be specific about it. But honestly, God knows where your heart is. He knows what you're saying even before you say it, because he's the one who created you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew, like, when my dad passed away, I knew what he was trying to tell me and how, well, obviously I didn't know, what his passing was, but I did know that God was working towards a better path for me. And I knew that, no matter how upset I was with my dad's passing, I knew God had another plan for him that I didn't know about, and sometimes, when we think about the things in our lives and it going the way it does, we just get, we get caught up in society. We get caught up in things that just don't manifest that well. But if you're manifesting in good energy, you're going to get that back in return, because the universe always will, like Ryan Smart always says, the universe will help you to attracting what you need to attract in your life, because it always comes back, because that's energy. It's energy. It's good energy, and there's bad energy. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a longer rant than I thought it would be, but honestly, I think I'm glad that I did that, because now you guys are able to understand, and I'm able to express that more clearly for those of you who really are desiring a long, successful relationship. And I'm not talking about just any relationship. I'm talking about marriage, people. So, like I said, always choose your friends wisely. Make good decisions, and God bless everybody on this Friday. And yesterday was the 4th of July, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned. I will be making some more good content out there, and I hope you guys have a good one.